Malcolm, you've got extensive international experience in both the public and the private sectors. Have you got any advice for urban designers who might be thinking about becoming consultants?
Look, I think the experience, I made decisions to actually work and practice overseas. I think opening your eyes to the practice of design and planning in different cities is incredibly instructive. If you have an opportunity to do it, I would very much encourage anyone who is thinking about consulting in that area or practicing in that area to broaden their horizons and see other places. I think, the old adage, travel broadens the mind. Well, certainly travelling and working in different places broadens the mind as well. And many of the things I've seen in those places I've been able to directly bring back and apply to the way I've practiced urban design. I think I've been very fortunate to have worked with some great clients and clients who are very educated and very knowledgeable about the value of urban design. It's not always the case that you have the ability to be able to work with those sorts of clients, but if you can cultivate them and they can see the results, then that's a very satisfying way to work. I think government is much more aware of the value of urban design, and it's great to see government commissioning more urban design work and understanding the way urban design can actually inform and prepare strategies for other projects that come after. So using urban design in a strategic way and people having the ability to think strategically, to think big picture about cities, I think is one of the areas that really needs a lot more work and certainly provides a lot of opportunities, I think, for young professionals to be involved.
Malcolm, prior to joining Southbank, you were the head of design for the City of Melbourne. Can you claim any credit for the urban rejuvenation of Melbourne?
No, I can't. It was very much a team effort, as often many of those sorts of programs are. I was very fortunate to have arrived and in that role at a time when there was a lot of political support emerging for the task of urban design, and a number of things were put in place both politically and financially to enable Melbourne to really take some giant strides in relation to the way in which it made a clear investment in the future of its city by putting urban design and urban design thinking at the core of the organisation. So I was very fortunate in that respect, but also to have worked and led a team of people who were multi-talented. We had urban designers, industrial designers, architects, engineers, all working collaboratively. And those perspectives, coming back to my earlier point about how you can draw upon those other perspectives and indeed draw upon the broader organisation. The great thing about what I think Melbourne has achieved is that it delivered results on the ground very early. Anyone who had any doubts about the value of it were quickly dispelled by the fact that they could see those early results, and particularly at a political level, where there was probably some suspicion about what all this meant. Delivering those early results, I think, gave confidence to continue to invest in the process, to in fact draw in other partners, particularly the development community, in that process. So it was a great. I felt very privileged to be part of it, but I think it was very much through a very integrated approach.
You were one of the inaugural recipients of the Australian Award for Urban Design. Can you tell us about that?
Well, again, I suppose I was just fortunate to be in the right place at the right time, but to his great credit, Paul Keating, who was the Prime Minister in the mid-1990s, wanted to elevate urban design to being something that national government should be concerned about, as well as any other part of government for that matter. But to his great credit, he did create this thing called, in fact it was called the Prime Minister's Award for Urban Design, and then they changed the name to the Australia Award for Urban Design, and Melbourne was the first recipient for its CBD revitalisation strategy, which really did turn around the CBD of Melbourne that was facing economic decline, particularly in the core. And so I felt very humbled and privileged by that. But as I said earlier, it was very much a team effort. I personally can't claim that it was all my own work. It was very much a collaboration between many people. And it was a great acknowledgement of a lot of hard work.